Good morning, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where we'll find people who have their heads so far up their own butt it went around full circle and their heads are back where they're supposed to be, but they're still entitled assholes. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. Can this just be an advance on my inheritance? Disclaimer: all names below have been changed. This story occurs on my wife's side of the family, so I have a second row seat rather than a front row for most of this. This took place just this past weekend. My wife's Aunt Louise is a great lady. She and her husband lived in the SF Bay Area and brought their home in the late 1970s. After her husband passed away a few years ago, she sold her home for well over $1 million and moved back to live closer to her family where she grew up, farming areas in Southern Carolina. She's in her late 60s. Aunt Louise had 6 children who are now all in their 40s. The oldest 2 are nice, normal people. I'm getting this story from Kay's oldest son. Her youngest, Kay, is a real piece of work. She meets all the criteria for a psychological diagnosis of narcissism. This is just one of literally dozens of stories I could tell. Kay divorced her husband about a year ago. She hadn't been happy, well, she never is, and figured the final way she could use him was to clean him out in divorce. She would later find out that their constant refinancing of their home to pay down credit card debt means that there was almost no equity in the house, and him having been foolish enough to keep cashing in his 401k meant no retirement account for her to plunder. I heard that when all was said and done, she got less than $10,000 in the divorce. She got to keep her car, which she would always buy a new one every couple of years anyway, and proving how abusive the court system is, she suffered the grave injustice of having to make her own car payments. Boo-hoo! Clearly, this was not going to fund her lifestyle, so she started running to Aunt Louise for a loan every single month. Because while normal people see Aunt Louise as a really nice person, Kay sees her as an ATM. After about $20,000 in loans over the past year, Aunt Louise asked Kay when she would begin paying back the loans. At this point, without any shame at all, Kay asks Louise, "Can the loans be in advance of my inheritance?" I can't wrap my head around how someone can basically say, "You're taking too long to die, Mom. Give me my money now." It's a pretty ballsy remark, but eager to double down, Kay then asked Louise, "Oh, and I'm going to be a little short on rent this month. Can I borrow $2,000? To give some perspective here, Kay has claimed her rent is $2,200 a month. So with less than a week to go before rent, Kay has, or so she claims, less than 10% of her rent. Aunt Louise initially said no, but after Kay launched her standard tactic of passive-aggressive emotional blackmail posts on Facebook, Aunt Louise relented today, much to the chagrin of everyone who hates seeing this poor woman exploited. Sadly, there's no comeuppance or karma for Kay. Emotionally abusing your own mother for $200K a year is her job, and she believes she is underpaid. What a bitch! Surgery is not an excuse. Another story from my veterinary receptionist days. For protection, I'll rename the vet Jane Doe. The phone call went as follows. Me: "Good morning, vet surgery name. How can I help you?" The client said, "I would like to speak with Jane about my dog." I said, "Unfortunately, she's in surgery at the moment. I can get her to call you back, or is there something I can help you with?" The client said, "No, I need to speak with Jane now. My dog has finished its medication and it's still not better." I said, "Could I take your details so I can have a look at your account?" The client then gives their details. And I said, "It looks as though the vet advised you to come back for another appointment to discuss this further if there is no improvement. I can offer you an appointment with her this afternoon." The client said, "No, I want to speak to her right now." I said, "That's not possible. As I said, she is in surgery. I can get her to call you when she is done, but she will likely need to see your pet." "I want to speak to her now," says the client. And then I said, "I'll pop you on hold and I'll go check with the vet and see what else we can offer." I go into the theater and explain the situation. The vet says they need to see the pet and cannot prescribe anything until she sees the pet, due to the nature of the treatment. I go back to the client and say, "Jane says she needs to see your pet so she can offer you an appointment with her this afternoon or evening." By the way, the vet was fully booked, but we're making time for this client, meaning staff either stay behind longer or the vet doesn't get much of a break. And the client said, "I just want to talk to her, 'cause I don't want to have to come in." I said, "Well, I can offer her to call you later, but she is currently in theater right now, so I can't get her to speak to you at this moment." "Can't you just hold the phone to her ear?" What the heck? Is she serious? She literally has her hands inside a dog right now. I cannot hold the phone to her ear, and I cannot get her to talk to you right now. I'm usually not this blunt, but obviously I couldn't get through to her otherwise. How inappropriate she was being. Unfair, disrespectful, entitled, etc. "Fine, get her to call me in 10 minutes, 'cause I'm going out. She has other surgeries, and she must do, and she needs a break. I can't say when she will call, but it will be today." "That's not good enough," says the client. And then I say, "I can offer another vet to speak with you. The other vet couldn't do surgery at the time due to an injury they had." "No, I want Jane," the client said. "Then she will call when she can, or you can book an appointment to see her later today." "Just get her to call me ASAP." In the end, she ended up needing an appointment, so she had to come in anyway. I was just flabbergasted. Never have I ever been so blunt as "she is in surgery" is not a good enough excuse for her. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm not seeing it from her perspective correctly? Let's scroll down. Before reading this, I saw a very good comment for this. Her perspective is, "My dog should be Jane's center of the universe. Why is she refusing to leave another dog on the table and talk to me? The world revolves around me." People like that, you can't reason with, nor are they willing to compromise. And then a comment below that says, "Close. Her real perspective is, I am the center of Jane's universe, so my needs trump everyone else's. And you're just trying to obstruct me, you stupid person." And yeah, you can't reason with people like her. Friend wants me to house and dog sit for 3 weeks and doesn't understand why I want to get paid. So this just happened. A friend of mine, who is more a friend of a friend, is planning a vacation to another country for 3 weeks next month. About a week ago, she asked me if I'd be willing to stay at her house and take care of her 2 dogs while she was away. As her dogs are lovely and her house is in a cool area near the beach, I agreed without asking about payment. I also knew her older son will be home on weekends, so I don't really get the house all to myself. Still, this would have worked out well for me, as my building is currently going through some renovations and my apartment needs some work done. I figured they can do the work during the time I'm not home. Why didn't I ask about payments, I hear you ask? Because a few months ago she called me and told me a friend of hers just rented an apartment that doesn't allow dogs. She didn't know that before she moved in, apparently, and she now needs to find new accommodations. Her dog cannot stay with her. She asked if I'd be willing to take in her dog for up to 3 weeks, and she'll pay me for it. My friend also advised me of fair pricing to charge her because I never have dog sat before, and I don't really know what to charge her. And I still wanted to be as fair as I could be when she was in a bind. I spoke to her friend and we agreed on a price. I ended up having to go all the way across town to pick up her dog and all of his stuff and bring him to my place, but that's another story. That was not agreed on, but fine. The dog, who was adorable, stayed with me for a week. I got paid in full, and my friend even called to make sure her friend paid me. This is why I stupidly assumed that she will pay me for it. However, I've been reading so many Karen stories lately that suddenly I got this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm sure all of you Reddit veterans already know where this is heading. I texted her today to ask about payment. The conversation went as follows. Hey Karen, not her actual name. How are you? So excited for your trip. By the way, I wanted to ask, what are you thinking regarding payments? She said, I don't understand. And she said again a second later, not understood. Yes, she said both. Paying me for taking care of your dog/house for 3 weeks. And she said, we obviously have a misunderstanding. I mean that I'd let you stay in my house for 3 weeks and you would take care of the dog. But I'd still be taking responsibility for your dogs. I'll be honest, I have a bit of anxiety about doing that without any compensation. Basically thinking, what if something happens? I don't want to be responsible for something I'm not even getting paid for. Her dog is known to escape his leash when going for a walk, which is more of a run really. I don't know if her dog knows how to walk, not to mention the heavy traffic in the area, and notoriously bad drivers in this country. And then she said in a long message, well, I have other people who want to stay at my place and will pay me for it. There was another woman who lives up north who asked me, told me, that when I'm going away, she wants to stay at my house. I have my daughter, doesn't live with her, on the line right now asking if she can stay at my house while I'm away. Do you know there are people advertising apartments with 2 bedrooms and 2 cats, etc., and are charging people to stay at their home, charging water, electricity, and Wi-Fi as well. I'm not charging you anything, not water, electricity, nothing, and you can eat the food from the fridge. I just thought of you and decided to offer you the opportunity to stay at my house instead of my own daughter or my longtime friend. I thought I was doing you a favor. So I take a deep breath, congratulate myself on reading enough Reddit stories to stay calm, and recognize a Karen for what she is, and then I said, well, I sure am glad we spoke. As I live in this city, I don't need an Airbnb. I can just take one bus from right in front of the building, and I'm at the beach. It's not really a problem for me, and not the reason I agreed to stay at your house. If I wanted a vacation, I'd probably go to another city up north or something. If your daughter wants to stay there, or another friend wants to stay, I suggest you give one of them the opportunity to stay at your house with your dogs, and sometimes son. No hard feelings at all. In case you ever get stuck in the future, feel free to hire me. I guess I should have seen that one coming. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. See you next time.